Hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Star Wars Vintage Collection Action Figure Review. And today we're talking about another vehicle called the Imperial Troop Transport. So, as you can see here, this is the Vintage Collection version of this toy. But it first appeared in 1979 when Kenner created this toy. And this toy was not in any of the original trilogy movies. So, in effect, it is the first expanded universe Star Wars thing ever, in my opinion. And what's really cool about it, the history of the original toy has lots of interesting ups and downs, and we're going to talk about that first, and then we'll go into this review about this more modern version. So the original Imperial Troop Transport came out in 1979. And as I said before, it wasn't something that appeared in any of the movies. In fact, it appeared in a Marvel comic book in 1979, the same year that the toy came out. And it was Marvel Comics Star Wars, issue number 31. And in the comic itself, you see the actual Imperial Troop Transport. It was pretty neat. I thought it was kind of cool because I used to read those comics when I was a kid. And it was one of the coolest toys ever. I never owned it, but my friend who lived down the block had it, and it was really cool. It looks very similar to what you see here. It was really cool because you could capture 6 people or have stormtroopers riding with captured people on it. They also had these restraining collars that went over them. And the best part about the original Imperial Troop Transport, it had these buttons on top, and when you press the button, it made like laser blast, or it made a stormtrooper talking, or it made the engine sound of the troop transport. It gave it a lot of really cool play value, especially for kids that love to play with the action figures like me when I was a kid. It was a really cool toy. I loved it a lot. I was a little jealous of my friend. Also, the original Imperial Troop Transport, because it wasn't something in the original trilogy, the cool thing also it had was a comic book. It had a 4-page comic book that actually explained what happened to the Jawa Sandcrawler in A New Hope. Fast forward to 2020 when this toy came out. This toy was actually shown in the TV show Mandlorian. It was a really cool episode, and when I saw that, I was like, wow, that's awesome. And that's when that show was good, The Mandalorian. It kind of fell down. But I love the fact that they incorporated this great toy into the canon, the Star Wars canon. So that's a really amazing thing that the toy had such a life from 1979 all the way through 2020 as an actual toy. But prior to the toy being made, it appeared a couple of times else. It appeared in 2015. It made a small screen debut on the show Rebels, the animated series. And then in 2019, it made its live screen appearance in the Disney show The Mandalorian, as I said before. So you have those 2 really cool dates that show the evolution of this toy or this idea concept that to come to this toy. So now let's take a look at the actual toy. Let's take a look at the box. This box is awesome. You take a look at it. It's got the really cool old school vintage collection look. It's got the Star Wars logo with the silver stripe surrounding the image. It's showing the Mandalorian, which is kind of cool, right? Like I said, each show or movie has its own logo for it, which is kind of cool. So they always do like a really cool picture. I love this picture. It's kind of neat. You see the TIE fighter destroyed in the background, and the transports moving along, and the stormtroopers of getting ready for a battle. It's very cool. So if you take a look at this side view, it shows you the cockpit being open, and you see 2 stormtrooper drivers inside. And of course, there's the awesome Kenner logo. The awesome Kenner logo, It's the same image on the front and back. And what's really cool is the side shows you how awesome this toy is. You could fit a total of 10 stormtroopers, 6 on the outside, 4 on the inside. And it has a really cool back hatch that you can open up and the stormtroopers can rush out into battle. It's really awesome. And then once again, another image of the cover. And this one shows some other things that the Imperial troop transport can do. The top turret rotates, and as you can see, the hatch opens up on the top, which is really cool. And there was another thing, I just want to go back to that image. What's really cool about this toy, you can remove the entire roof of the toy. As you can see, those stormtroopers sitting inside. This is like the coolest thing ever. It's got like literally these like seats that fold down. It's pretty amazing. And you can take the top of this off and you can, you know, place the troopers inside. And if you want to take them out to fight their enemies, you could do that. It's a really cool thing. So let's open this bad boy up. Sorry. And this is it. This is how cool this thing is. Let me just move the box out of here. So this is probably the coolest toy I've seen in a long time. And Disney Hasbro did not disappoint. It's really cool. If you see, look, here's that turret on top that you can move around. It also has 2 guns in the front, which is really awesome. You can see this thing is pretty armored and ready for battle, which is cool. And what's really cool about this version of it is that some of these open up. So the stormtroopers can come out from inside, or they can come out if they're sitting on the top and they're sitting in these spots. They can just do that, but not all of them do. These don't. But this one does. And then on the other side, I think all these, yeah, here's this one opens up on the other side. And let's take a look at the back. And the back opens up and the troops can come rushing out from the back. This is such a cool freaking thing. And if you look at the cockpit, the detail inside the cockpit is insane. Let me get it close so you can see it better. I mean, this is unbelievable. You have the controls here that can move up and down. It's so awesome. It is like the coolest thing ever. I love this freaking thing. This is much better than obviously anything the old Kenner stuff had, but it's still a great. See, this side has the same exact controls that move up and down. And the inside, they have all this really cool machinery and computers and stuff. They did a really amazing job just on sculpting the details inside the actual troop transport, which is really cool. And then I hope I don't damage. Okay, look, then it comes off really easy, right? So if you take a look at the inside, and what's cool is these chairs fold up and down. Oh, this one doesn't. These 2 don't, but these 4 chairs fold up and down. And what's even the cooler is, you see this on the front here? It's a blaster rack. So you can put the Imperial weapons in the blaster rack. They can just all be there, right? It's so freaking cool. They did such a great job. It's such an amazing toy. It really is. There's a lot of play value. There's a lot of value. Even if you don't want to play with it, you just want to set it up. It's got a lot of really, actually, let me leave this up. It's got a lot of really cool things. So you have your stormtroopers, you know, riding along in these things. And then you have, oops, that's all right. You don't need a gun yet. So you have the ability to put your stormtroopers there, right? You have on the other side, the same thing. You can put stormtroopers on here. Oops, that's all right. I don't feel like... There we go. So you have 6 on the outside. The cockpit... Look at this. So I'm using this figure from Rogue One, the tank driver. So you can put him... I only have 1. I would have liked to have 2. I only have 1. So he can sit inside and drive. Come on. There we go. There we go. Okay. Fits in there finally, right? And then I like to also put... so this is a Stormtrooper commander, like a sergeant or something, because of the pauldron color, and he could be the commanding officer in this, and he can go in there. I'm not going to put him in there, but it's pretty amazing. They have so much things you can do with this. The play value is insane. This is definitely the coolest toy I think that the Vintage Collection has put out in a long time. Obviously, I think the greatest toy they put out is the Millennium Falcon, but that's for another review. But this is a really great toy. I think this is probably one of the best things that they put out. And as far as like play value, it's got tons and tons. As far as how cool it looks, if you want to display it, it still looks amazing. You can do a lot with the display. It's a really great piece. I think you should definitely own one if you're a big fan of the Vintage Collection. And I would say it's a definitive version of the troop transport. I can't imagine them creating a better troop transport. I mean, I like the fact that a lot of the new Vintage Collection stuffs don't have those electronic noises like laser blasts and stuff. I think that was cool in the 1970s/80s, but I don't think it's worth it today. And it drives the cost of the toy up as well. So yeah, this is the definitive version of this troop transport. And I'd like to thank you for coming and watching this episode, and I'll see you again next time with another review. Have a great day.